Good morning, everyone, and welcome, and join us in our first song that you see up on the screen.
There was a time in my life I thought I'd have to do it all myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you've got to let it go, let it all go. And this is what you have to say: I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for
Oh, good morning to you all. Those of you who are here in body, those of you who are joining us online, we're all one presence, and we're all here for God. However we show up, wherever we show up. Good to see you all this morning. I've been away for a few weeks. Good to be home. I want to share something with you. One of the things that I'm kind of on my mind is that along the way, I think it's safe to say for most of us, we have changed coaches. We have left the coach that we grew up with as a religion, as a belief system. We've chosen something else for ourselves, this being one of them. And so whatever your coach is, I do think for myself that it's important to be fully committed, to be consistent, to be willing to be repetitive about what it is that they are coaching us about. Watching the Olympics, that is the story over and over and over again. Many of those athletes have chosen different courses along the span of their time as an athlete. A coach works until it doesn't, and we are free to choose another coach along the way. So, welcome here for this time in your life journey when this is the coach that really fills your needs. One of my coaches, I'm kind of new into this world of astrology, but this astrologer really speaks to me. And in particular, what I want to share with you this morning, because just the other day, as I was driving, this coach said to me, "How do you want to live?" And that has taken me down a trajectory of really thinking, praying about how I want to live. And you know what? Just about all of the words are adverbs. They're action words. So it's how do I want to live? How do I want to express? How do I want to be? How do I want to be more of? So I'd like to read you something from an astrologer. Her name is Virginia Rosenberg. She lives in England, but this is what she's had to say for this month of August, which I understand is going to be a doozer. So kind of to get ready for it. How is your heart? What are your heart's truest desires? What would happen if you brought your whole heart to your current situation? To love, to create, to let yourself be seen for who you really are. These are acts of courage. By definition, they make us vulnerable. Love is dangerous. There's no courage without the risk of vulnerability and honesty. Courageousness comes from the resilient, noble nature of the heart. Yes, your heart will become broken. It's inevitable. And knowing this shouldn't be a cause to withdraw. If you wish to keep it safe from harm, you can lock it behind walls and armor. You can refuse to share it with anyone else. You can hold your life at arm's length, frustrated all the while at the unhappiness that it enables you, until you can receive with an open heart. We're never really giving with an open heart. That's from Brené Brown. Let life in. Sense your heart's true yes, and let it guide your life. Your life is a love story, and you're the main character. What will allow you to fall deeper in love with yourself and this life you've been given? Your choice. What adverbs are you going to practice this week? I challenge you. My list is long. I hope yours will be too. Okay. Deep breath. And with that, we're on to our mission, vision, statement, and all of those wonderful things that join us together, heart-wise as well as mind-wise. So here we go, our vision. A world powerfully transformed through shared spiritual awakening. And our mission, advancing the movement of spiritual awakening and transformation through unity, a positive path for spiritual living. And our values, abundance, acceptance, diversity, integrity, joy, love. And we celebrate our children. Unity of Appleton sees the divinity in all children and nurtures their unfolding spirituality. And today's word from the Daily Word, inner peace. The peace of God is mine to live and mine to share. Peace flourishes in my awareness of the divine presence within. Flowing from my spiritual center, peace calms my emotions, clarifies my thoughts, relaxes my body, and radiates to everyone around me. If peace eludes me, I open myself to anything that may be blocking its flow and invite it to come forward for healing. If I am holding on to resentment or unforgiveness, I pray for the willingness to forgive, affirming divine love through me. Forgiveness and release all bitterness. If fear and worry seep into my thoughts, I remember God is the only presence and power active in the universe. Affirming faith dissolves fear and restores peace. I align my thoughts and feelings with God's indwelling presence to live ever more peacefully. And from Romans, from the Bible, let us then pursue what makes for peace, for mutual upbuilding. And so that is music, please.
This is our unitized version of an Everly Brothers song that you probably all know. I just felt like saying that this morning because whenever Beverly walks in the door and I know we're going to sing this song, it makes us happy because it's her favorite. So enjoy yourselves.
Let go my old self, now I'm brand new. I sure am happy, no longer blue. Cause I'm thinking and set me free. I know divine love is part of me. Hello love, hello happiness. Goodbye loneliness, I let my spirit fly. Hello love, hello happiness. Goodbye emptiness, I let my spirit fly. I let my spirit fly. I'm through with this, I'm through with that. No need to worry, no looking back. When things get tough, I know within me that I'm enough. Hello love, hello happiness. Goodbye loneliness, let my spirit fly. Hello love, hello happiness. Goodbye emptiness, let my spirit fly. Let my spirit
So while she stands up there, I have to turn my phone on because this morning I went, oh, I've got Cheryl's bio printed. And
You don't need a bio.
But I'm the admin, so it's on my phone. So anyway, sometimes you think you're well organized, and life throws you a curveball, and you're like, hey, plan B. So, I mean, I certainly could talk about Cheryl because we are delighted that she's here. It's been way too long since we've seen her. And we know her, right? She's an artist, not an artist. She's a mystic, an animal whisperer. Some of us were lucky enough one day when she brought her dogs in for that reason. That was really, really cool. And she's just one who really recognizes the divinity in nature. She is a lifelong unity and metaphysics student, as well as a former spiritual leader and youth minister. And so we are really delighted today to hear her parable of 2 ears. So welcome Cheryl Davis McKernan, please.
Thank you. And let's give it up for the band. That was fun. Now, I believe if the Everly Brothers, you know how songwriters work? They just sort of, sometimes the tune comes in and the lyrics come later, and so they'll just insert lyrics as placeholders, right? I believe that is the way that song was intended to be. So Maybe whoever did the lyrics could get some ASCAP royalties from the new version, just saying. Okay, let's begin just by taking a moment just to close our eyes and go in and take a deep breath. Just take a moment now to get still and to touch that deep stream within ourselves, that stream from which all truth flows. For just a moment, without really reaching for anything or trying to accomplish anything, other than just to let go. Feel an immersion in the infinite, limitless mind, the creative process. Jesus called it the kingdom within. Just get this feeling on a hot summer's day of slipping into cool, refreshing waters as if you were stepping into a pool. Think of this as the limitless, immeasurable mind of the infinite. There's nowhere to go, nothing to do, just be. There's a point where the mind is open on one end to the infinite God flow. There's something guiding us, something healing us, something enriching us. This is happening right now in our consciousness. We're grateful for this sense of awareness of the whole of us, of our oneness with infinite mind, and our openness to the creative process. And amen. So we're in a present receptive state, as if we were when we were children, ready for story time. Those of us who may have gone to Sunday school and heard different stories, or maybe we had a grandmother or a grandfather who would tell stories of the past. And I want to share with you a story that was given to me yesterday morning. I was sitting outside sipping coffee. I have an app on my phone called Merlin, which picks up all the birds that are there. And it's just fascinating. You know, I've never seen that cedar waxwing, but I know he's up there in that tree. So I started reflecting on what's happening in our world right now. So many things, right? We've got the Olympics going on. We're in a year of, which Olympics always fall on presidential election years, right? So I just started thinking of all that's happening and somewhat turbulent times, somewhat peaceful times. There's some fun in here, and there's some less than fun aspects. And as I glanced up looking for that cedar waxwing, there's this huge tree. I call her Mother Tree. She's clearly hundreds of years old, this giant oak tree. And I asked Mother Tree a question. I said, has it always been, since you were rooted here, has there always been chaos like this? And this is the story she told me. There once was a time when all creatures were separate. They lived only with their kind in their designated place where the Great Spirit Creator placed them. They listened to and they sang the songs of their grandparents that had learned those songs from their grandparents. They harvested like their grandparents. They built their nests like their grandparents did. They listened to what they were told, and they acted accordingly. Well, a long time ago, when squirrel was one of the first on the earth, squirrel was quite large, with very, very large ears. Now, squirrel roamed through the trees and the fields. And a long time ago, when rabbit was first on this earth, he was very, very, very large and had very short ears. And he ate at the base of Mother Tree. And a long time ago, when owl was very first on the earth, he was very, very tiny, and he had no ears, and he lived in the top of Mother Tree. Well, one day Squirrel, who remember was very, very large and had very, very long ears, was wandering about. He got bored. It was a hot day. He had nothing better to do, and he noticed Owl up in the top of the trees, and he noticed Rabbit down at the bottom of the tree, and he thought, you know what? We're going to do something fun. I'm going to stir up some trouble. Now, he was lucky. Even though he was very, very large, he had long claws, and so he climbed all the way up to the very top of Mother Tree, where he saw Owl. He said, hey, Owl. Now, Owl was very meek and a little bit naive. At that point, Owl only ate like little insects that were at the very top of the trees, and he innocently said, hey, Squirrel, what's up? Did you see Rabbit down below just chunking about the forest and causing all kinds of making the whole tree shake, and he's just terrible. He's just angry down there. I said, what's he angry about? Well, you should have heard what he said about you. Stirring the pot. And so Squirrel made up a big story of something that that Rabbit supposedly said about Owl. Owl's feelings were very hurt, because remember, he was very meek and very mild, and he got angry. He didn't know what to do, and he could only look forward, and he looked around for his other owls, and he didn't see any, and he sat there, and he just froze. Well, Squirrel thought, check, and went down to the bottom of the tree, and there was Rabbit with his little ears munching away, and kind of a bit of a buffoon, I would say. And so Squirrel saw easy target down there and said, hey, Rabbit. Yeah, Squirrel, what's up? Did you hear what Squirrel was saying about you, or what Owl was saying about you? And this went on. Squirrel was having so much fun getting Rabbit angry. Rabbit was so angry, he tried to jump up to the tree, but he couldn't quite make it to the top. Owl was so hurt, he wanted to go down and talk with Rabbit about what was going on, what Squirrel told him he had said, and he started biting at all of the leaves. He figured if he could clear all the leaves down, he could hop all the way down the tree. Well, Rabbit started chewing the roots of the tree, because he wanted to bring the tree down completely so he could get to Owl. Well, one day, shortly after everything was in a bunch of chaos, the Great Spirit, the creator of all, started to wander up. And usually, all of the animals, when they saw him, would gather around him and talk with him, and he would tell them stories, and they were so happy. They would all greet him. But this day, it felt a little different. He saw the great tree, the great mother tree was shaken and shaken, and there was just chaos everywhere. So Creator asked Owl, he said, hey, how are you? How's everything going? Owl was upset and said, I don't have time to talk with you, as he continued to nibble at the leaves. Creator thought that was weird, and he walked around to the other side of the tree, and there was Rabbit. He said, Rabbit, what's wrong with you? Why are you eating the leaves of the roots of the tree? He said, I don't have time to talk with you. I'm really, really busy. I'm really angry right now. So Creator asked Rabbit, said, well, what's going on? Like, what happened? He said, well, Owl said something really, really bad about me. I'm going to get him down. And Creator thought, well, that's odd. That's not like Owl. And so Creator went to Owl and he said, what's wrong with you? Well, Rabbit said this terrible stuff about me. I need to get to him. So Creator finally said, something doesn't quite make sense here. So he arranged a meeting between Owl, and he brought Owl down and brought Rabbit over, and he said, guys, what's going on here? Like, where did you hear all of this stuff? And Owl said, well, I heard it from Squirrel. Rabbit said, well, I heard it from Squirrel. So Creator looked around, no squirrel to be seen. Now remember, squirrel at this point had long ears and was quite a bit larger than squirrel that we know now. Squirrel got scared, and he was hiding in a bush. Kind of hard for a big animal to hide behind a little bush. So Creator said, squirrel. Squirrel hunkered down a little more. Squirrel, come on. Squirrel came out and thought he was going to be punished by Creator. Creator scooped him up, held him, gently squeezed him, patted his head, and made him much, much smaller, and made his ears much, much smaller. Little body, little ears. No longer did Squirrel have the big ears to hear what all the other animals were doing. He was now relegated to be very small. He was still allowed to climb up and down the tree, and he was still allowed to chatter, but nobody could understand what he was chattering about. So to this day, Squirrel still chatters. Well, Rabbit was still very upset and very violent and just wanted to do some harm. And Creator picked up Rabbit and gently hugged him and whispered into his ear. And as the words that he whispered into his ear started to make his heart tingle, this effervescent tingle. And he took Rabbit's small ears and made them larger. And he hugged him and made him smaller and more gentle, and whispered into his ears a phrase that we'll tell later. Now, Owl was still sitting on one of the lowest branches, still feeling really bad about himself. He was just small and meek. And Creator picked up Owl and brought him to his chest and whispered into his ears also a phrase, and reached and tugged on his feathers and made his heart, Owl's heart, expand, and Owl became quite large. So what did Creator say to them? Whispered into their ears, but told them that they are perfect and whole, and they also are his children. And the feeling that it made them feel, it made their hearts just tingle. Not the little itchy sounds that they were hearing, those little prickly sounds that they were hearing from Squirrel earlier, but this they felt deep into their hearts. And what Creator told Owl was, you have the wisdom. You have not one but two ears. You'll hear out of both ears. You'll hear things that are true and things that are false. And when you remember the tingle in your heart, you'll be able to hear my truth that I'm whispering to you. And from now on, you will sit proudly at the treetops. You will be the brave warrior. You will be the protector of the night. And when someone passes by, you won't just randomly hear what they say. You're going to ask, who? Who says this? And to Rabbit, you no longer need to have this anger. Feel that effervescence in your heart. You now have two long ears that you're able to turn in whichever direction you want. They've made you wise. They've made you hear what your truth is as well. Feel that feeling into your heart and discern what's right for you. To know when it's safe to eat your clover that I've provided for you. To know when it's time to hide, when there are predators who might be there to harm you. But know that you are a peaceful being, and you too are my child. So Owl was given bravery and wisdom. Rabbit was given gentleness and speed. Both were given discernment. So having gone from having their ears tickled by untruths to having their heart tingled with the effervescence of real spirit. So that is how owl is now large. We have the great horned owl, who we hear here occasionally at the top of the treetops, in charge of the night, in charge of discernment, in charge of our safety. And he asks, who? Rabbit is often looked at as a good luck charm. All is provided for him. Yes, they eat our vegetables occasionally, but they mean no harm. And squirrel. Squirrel, again, continues to chatter, continues to be the little imp that comes back and forth, right? So that is what Mother Tree told me. This is our creation. There's always been conflict since the beginning of time. Since God created the heavens and the earth, light separated the darkness. It's always been there. But what do we turn to? The dark is there, the light is there, the yin, the yang. It all works together. We have the guardian of the night and the peaceful ones of the day. We're safe no matter what. So the words that we hear, the feelings, the stress that some people are under, to go back, to take it into our hearts, to ask for discernment. There's a saying I love: ears to hear, a heart to know, and eyes to see. I talk about the Missouri thing a lot, right? I'll believe it when I see it. And we all know that's not it. We will see it when we believe it. And that's where we are now. Lots of misinformation in our own minds. What are our minds telling us in this moment? Do we look for, or do we listen to the niggly thoughts, or do we go to that peaceful place? Today's daily word was perfect for me. It was inner peace. The peace of God is mine to live and mine to share. So each of the characters in this parable is us. Sometimes we are the squirrel. We see something on Instagram or Facebook and it's funny and it tickles our ears, and we pass it along to people that we think will enjoy that. Some people will enjoy it, and it will honestly tick off other people. But we had the choice, and you talked about choice earlier. We had the choice. Do we keep this to ourselves and just chuckle, or do we pass it along? And the consequences, because there's always a consequence. So the ears to hear. How does this make me feel? How will this make you feel? How does this make the world a better place? Or doesn't it? Do I just leave it, not pay attention to it? And we ask and we bring it into our hearts and know what's right. We ask for our angels to step forward, the Creator who came along and picked up each of the animals and didn't berate them, but hugged them and loved them and let them know that they too are the children of the Creator. And finally, we'll have the eyes to see, to be able to discern that truth. Today's daily word: if peace eludes me, I open myself to anything that may be blocking its flow. So the peace that blocked the flow was what? The squirrel was not allowing the peace to be there. And invite it to come forward for healing. That's kind of a brave act. Anything that's blocking the flow, typically we want to just push that away, right? But if we turn that around, trusting and knowing that we are protected and guided, that we have Owl looking out for us, that we can look at it and face it and allow it to heal. asking what is this healing really about? What's really going on here? What's the real story? To discern the truth with a capital T, what's the real truth behind this? What lesson am I learning? We had, my husband and I have an older Honda CRV, and several years ago, we had a strange incident and we lost the car keys and the fob, everything, no spare key. So we had to hire a locksmith to come out and make a new key. Everything's fine. Fast forward 6 years to a couple of days ago. Actually, shortly before I had to pick, by the way, this is my son, Trevor, and his girlfriend, Aaliyah. And just to welcome them. They are Californians presently living in Arizona and now visitors to Appleton. But it was just a few hours before I had to pick them up at the airport. And I was doing some errands, and the chicken sliders at A&W were really good. So I went through the drive-thru to pick some up for my husband and myself, and it was a long line. And so I turned my car off. It's just a habit of turning your car off, not realizing it's 90-something degrees outside. And then went to start it up again, and nothing. So I walk up to the drive-thru window, and this angel that was there, the manager pushes me out of the way. A guy comes out, starts the car. I called, the roadside assistance. Comes out, car starts up right away. So we're thinking, it's the battery, no problem. So I drive the car home and park it, I back it into our driveway, just in case we have to, have a jump, in case it doesn't start again. Well, sure enough, it did not start again. So kids took an Uber back to our house. We only have one car, by the way. And so we're intending on jumping it the next morning. It won't start. Neighbor comes over. It still won't start. We got the jumper cables. It melted his jumper cables. Next door neighbor's there. I called Trevor out. So there's, my husband, 2 neighbors, and my son, who are all fairly decent with cars, are just baffled. Car had to be towed. Well, it turns out that sometimes when you make a new key for a car, there's a security system in it that will not allow the car to start. So how it worked for 6 years, I don't know. But it was just one of those things. It's like, okay, what was our lesson in this? Right? We didn't get upset. We were just baffled. So stepping back, it's like, okay, why did this happen? Well, thank God we were in our driveway and not out, on the road someplace. We're ready to take a road trip to Michigan tomorrow. And I mean, can you imagine being up, east of Escanaba in the middle of, you guys have driven across Highway 2 up there. There's nothing around. There's big bears up there that could haul us off. So anyway, I look at that as, okay, here's our blessing. So God was there. Spirit was there. We were protected. It was unusual. It was uncomfortable in the time, but everything worked out okay. We faced it. We took care of what happened, needed to happen, and everything was fine because we had the ears to listen for guidance and a heart to know what was right. And then we finally saw what the result was. Yay, we have a new key, and turns out the battery is fine. So that was a big savings. So anyway, every day there's going to be those little things that are going to happen, right? So ears, what am I listening to? Bring it to my heart. Does it tingle? Is this right? Is it this one? No, you know what? Maybe it's this ear that I should be listening to. Does your heart tingle? Does this feel right? Yes. And then your eyes will see the answer. So with this, I'm looking at the time right now. Let's take this into a brief meditation period. And I invite you to again close your eyes. Remember that deep stream that you're immersed in. The creative waters all about you, cool and refreshing. The waters from which all truth flows. Limitless, immeasurable mind of the infinite. There's nowhere to go, nothing to do, just be. We are the point where the mind is open on one end to the infinite God flow. We are the point between the wise hearing, the wise heart, and the wise sight. I listen. I hear with my heart. I discern truth. Now I see. Thank you, God, for ears to hear. Thank you, God, for a heart to know. Thank you, God, for eyes to see. Remaining aligned with God's indwelling presence, we take this wisdom throughout our day, throughout our week, throughout our space. We take this wisdom to live ever more peacefully. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is. Amen. And namaste.
In the silence of this moment, right where you are, as you are, join with me in this further meditation. I am love. I am health. I am peace. It is mine to be loved. It is mine to be happy. It is mine to be healthy. I am a child of God. It is mine to be nothing less. Today I accept the healing of body, mind, and spirit. I forgive myself for the mistakes I made. I forgive all the people for whom I have felt anger. I accept them because they could not be as I wanted. I release them and I free myself from the resentment forever. I cancel the past in the present to free my future. It is mine to enjoy the love of my loved ones. I stop judging myself and judging others forever. I now release all my pain, my mistakes, my illness, so Spirit can transform it into health, love, and peace. I accept everything as it is now, and with patience to begin to finally heal. God, you are in me and I am in you. By your divine power and your love within me, I decide to heal my body, my mind, and my soul. I open my heart to your pure love that surrounds me with its radiant light, revitalizing every cell in my body. Every negative thought becomes positive, recreating myself in a new life full of love and joy. I will share this love with all, communicating everything I feel. I wish to heal with all my heart and then to help others, thus fulfilling my mission of love and communication of love in this life. Thank you, universe, that already is. And so it is. Breathe that in, breathe it out. Breathe it in to your heart. Breathe it out. Breathe it into your ears. Breathe it out. Breathe it into your eyes. Breathe it out. Breathe it once into your whole being. And breathe it out. Amen. So now we move from prayer to our affirmation of prosperity. This is a time when those of us who feel Unity of Appleton as our spiritual home practice putting Spirit first in our financial life. This practice prospers the spiritual community we love and supports our own spiritual growth and prosperity. Please give whatever amount Spirit guides you to give, whether it's in person or electronically, whatever that amount is. Take that gift into your heart. Bless it with your love. Feel free to bless the plate as it passes by. Let yourself feel grateful to God in you as your one source. Then please join in our affirmation of prosperity. Say with me this affirmation. Unity of Appleton is alive with the energy of Spirit in the flow of divine abundance and radiant with unlimited possibilities. And then join me in saying our celebration of giving and receiving. Divine love in and through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I joyfully give and willingly receive. I give in love, and I trust God as my source.
So this is our first public performance of this song that's new to us. And will be something I'm sure that you guys will recognize, hopefully, so we hope you enjoy it.
You can sing along.
They made paradise, put up a parking lot with a big hotel, a boat to get us screaming hot spot.
Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you got till it's gone? They made paradise, put in the parking lot.
Tall trees, put 'em in a tree museum. They charge the people $1.50 just to see them.
Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you got till it's gone? They made paradise, put in the parking lot.
Farmer, farmer, put away your DDT now. Give me spots on my apples, give me the birds and the bees. Please don't.
Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you got till it's gone?
They made paradise, put in the parking lot. Hey now, they made paradise, put in the parking lot. Late last night, changed my attitude. Now I fill my mind with high gratitude.
Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you got till it's gone?
They made paradise, put in the parking lot. Hey now, now,
Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you got till it's gone?
they made paradise, put in the parking lot.
I remember the Science Share show and the animated version of it.
How we give thanks for these gifts that appear in all ways, in the music, in the message, in all of the love that surrounds us, in the form of financial gifts. For this we are grateful. Thank you. And now we're on to announcements. A school supply drive. The Spiritual Action Team is looking for donations for Outagamie County's back-to-school program. Take a list from the SSAT bulletin board. The most needed items are on that list. By next Sunday, by next Saturday, by next Sunday for sure, August 11th. Okay, we've got a big box back there, fill her up. Our newest book study is A Course in Miracles. Of course, when love becomes a way of life. It's about how to make A Course in Miracles principles work in daily life, even if you're not a student of the course. The group meets Fridays, 1 to 2:30 in the Unity Sanctuary. Please let Karen Sophie know if you're interested. All are welcome to join at any time. Okay. If you love our social events, please think of participating in our new social organizing group. They will be coordinating meetup groups, book groups, special events, and more. The next meeting is Tuesday, August 13th at 1 o'clock in the Unity Cafe. If you can't make it, would like to share your ideas, please talk to Julie or to Karen Sophie. And mark your calendars for a road trip. Synchronicity is playing at the Shawano Folk Music Festival this Saturday, August 10th. The festival starts at 10 with 3 other bands plus us. We also have a 45-minute set at 1:30 in the Pondview Glen tent. We'd love to see some friendly faces there. And there is a website, shawnofestival.org, if you want more information. A Yoga Nidra Sound Journey, Wednesday, August 21st, 6 to 7:30. Join Teresa for Destination Bliss. Teresa Mucha has been exploring the healing properties of sound for years. She's now beginning to share her expertise with others. Join her on a vibrational Yoga Nidra sound journey at Unity of Appleton with guided relaxation, crystal bowls, chimes, and a buffalo drum. This blissful event only asks for a love donation for utilities expenses. Sign up at the Connect and Serve table. Town Hall Gathering on Sunday, September 8th. The Town Hall Gathering and a potluck afterwards. We have a lot of great things to discuss. So much good going on at Unity of Appleton. And that brings us to our closing with the prayer of protection. Join us standing, arms raised, fingers tingling from that energy in your heart. Reach into your heart and bring it out here. All out here. You too, online, join us in this. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Thank you.